Hi, I am Nifty Clements, and you might have seen a previous video where I mounted PVC using this method, basically just a T or a 90. You shove a few screws through there, and there you go. It works great. This has been up there for like 3 years. It's still nice and solid, but even though it works well, it was never really what I wanted. What I really wanted was a flange, and you might have even remembered when I tried to make one.
PVC cap glued into the center with the PVC glue, which makes a pretty permanent bond. Never mind.
And failed pretty miserably. Now this is a steel flange made for steel pipe. And this is super handy. You can do all sorts of stuff with this. You can make tables and lamps. You can mount shelves, and it's super heavy duty. And it just so happens the thread structure on metal pipe is the same for PVC. So you can actually take one of these adapters and screw it in to these metal flanges. So there's our 1/2-inch steel flange with a 1/2-inch threaded adapter. We can then take our 1/2-inch pipe, and that is just awesome. It's got a super clean profile. It's just a really nice, easy to do, heavy duty way to mount PVC. The only problem is this iron flange costs $8, and the 3/4 inch flange is close to $9. Here's the 3/4 inch iron flange, and the same thing. That accepts the 3/4 inch threaded adapter perfectly fine. This thing is $9 at the Home Improvement Center. So it's not cheap and heavy. Now you can find some better deals online, but as far as something that you can just go to the store, pick up, and get going on, well, it's not the most economical choice, while it might be the best looking. And it's also metal. I mean, this thing's heavy. And if we're just working with PVC, we might not want to use metal. We just want plastic. If you search online for a PVC flange, you'll find a few things. I mean, there are big flanges for like toilet seats and stuff for like super big pipe, but for just a 1/2-inch or 3/4 inch pipe, there really isn't anything. And some of the things you can find that might work are the same price, if not more expensive than the iron flanges. So again, you just might as well use these. But what if I told you that there was a plastic flange that you can buy at your home improvement store? It's just not going to be in plumbing. It's going to be in electrical. This is a plastic lamp holder, and I don't know about you, but that looks like a plastic flange to me. And it costs less than $3. Now, how do we attach this to this? Well, there's a couple of ways. One way is to actually take advantage of the threading in here. Now you can technically screw in a 3/4 inch threaded adapter into the light socket. It will thread and it will lock in, but it won't thread straight. So it's actually gonna be on a bit of an angle. If that's not an issue, that's definitely a way to go. But if that angle is going to be an issue, well, there's still plenty of other options. One such option is to actually attach some light bulb threads to the end of your PVC. Now, if you have some of these old style fluorescent bulbs lying around, these actually work really great for that. You can actually just cut right through the bottom of these, and you won't have to deal with any broken glass. You then just need to pull out the internal circuitry. And we're left with this pretty nice light bulb screw that almost perfectly fits over some 3/4 inch pipe, but it's a bit too loose. So you could glue that in there pretty successfully, or we can increase the diameter of the pipe just a little bit using a heat gun. Now, if you don't have a heat gun or you haven't used one before, I would highly recommend it. If you do any work with PVC, it's going to open up so many possibilities as to what you can do. And it's just going to open up possibilities in general. It's a highly versatile tool, and I highly recommend it. Now, this battery-operated heat gun by Ryobi is super cool. I mean, I love Ryobi products, which I'm sure you may know. But that said, some of Ryobi's safety features are super annoying, like this one. It won't let you just lock it on. It makes you hold on to the trigger, and as soon as you let go, it shuts off. Now when you're using a heat gun, stuff actually cools off relatively fast. You have a really short amount of working time, and it really helps be able to have both of your hands to maneuver your working piece. So having to hold down the trigger, especially in this case, is not helpful, so we're just gonna bypass that. Speaking of safety and Ryobi tools, I genuinely do love Ryobi tools, and they came out with possibly the coolest tool ever made, and I've wanted to show it to you for a long time. This thing is a PVC cutter, a battery-operated PVC cutter. You want to talk about safety, or lack thereof. Now, that's freaking awesome. For someone who works with PVC, this is the best tool ever made. But that's horrifying. I mean, that's horrifying. That's horrifying. I'd stick my finger into my table saw before I'd want this just, I want to see this in a movie so bad. I want to see like a torture scene movie where they put a guy's finger in there and it's like, where are the drugs? Ow. Ow. But this is the coolest tool, and me, unofficial PVC guy, of course I had to have it. Again, I wanted to show you that for a long time. It's the Digit Remover 9000 by Ryobi. Of course, do this at your own risk, but again, sometimes safety features make things worse. Almost there. And there we go. Give that a few seconds to cool down. And now, with any luck, that is a super snug fit. Check that out. See how great one of these is? We took a pipe that was too loose and we'd have to get out some glue and it would just kind of be a mess to now it fits. Just another reason why PVC is such an awesome tool to make stuff with. And we should actually be able to do the same thing with the 1/2-inch pipe. Now, of course, this outer ring is way too big for a 1/2-inch pipe, especially if it was too big for a 3/4-inch pipe. But there's actually a small inner ring that's actually just too small for the 1/2-inch pipe. So if we cut off this outer collet, we're just left with this, the light bulb screw with a little bit of plastic that again is just too small for our 1/2-inch pipe, but if we heat it up, we should be able to get a nice snug fit. And again, we can just screw that in to our flange, and there's our 1/2-inch pipe in our light bulb PVC flange. I don't think it's actually PVC, but it's plastic and it's cheap. So there we go, that's how we can attach some PVC to these plastic light bulb holders. But is it the easiest way? I mean, for one, you have to have these kind of unique bulbs. I don't even know if they still make these anymore. I mean, you might have luck with some similar type of bulbs, but I would definitely recommend using ones that have some sort of plastic. If you just take a glass bulb, for one, you're gonna have to break the glass, and then you're just gonna be left with this like aluminum screw piece, which is really flimsy. The plastic in here is actually giving it a lot of strength. But if you can find these type of bulbs, you're definitely gonna want probably this kind, at least for the 3/4-inch pipe. The larger bulb here, this opening isn't really that useful. It doesn't really fit any kind of standard PVC size, unfortunately. Maybe a big dowel, so that'd be one use for it. But otherwise, these larger ones are definitely still useful for 1/2 inch, where we just cut it off right at the tip and just use that little bit of plastic as a way to secure it in there. But what if we just got rid of this portion altogether? That might be the easier way to go. Now, the light bulb receptacle in these is actually really easy to remove. It's just held in there with 3 rivets. So we just need a drill to remove those. And it's just a matter of drilling out those rivets, and then everything will fall out. So now we're literally just left with a plastic flange. Now again, the fit here is a little bit loose, but with our heat gun, we expand that fitting just a little bit. Ugh. And now we have a super tight fit. We can attach our 1/2 inch pipe. That's in there. It's not going anywhere. Now, if you're going to mount this to the ceiling, it might pull out. It is just a friction fit at the moment, albeit a good one. You could try gluing it in there. I don't know what kind of plastic this is, so PVC glue might work. You've seen my results with PVC glue in the past. Maybe if we waited longer. Although with this specific flange light bulb holder, it has these ridges on the inside, which is what is allowing our coupler to fit in there so tightly. So there really isn't a lot of surface area for glue. So you'd be better off maybe just filling this whole section in with some hot glue or something. Or you could just secure it with a screw. Now again, I don't know what type of plastic this is, but I can tell you it's very brittle. So you have to be very careful drilling and screwing into it. So we don't actually want to screw into this plastic. We want our screw to screw into the PVC pipe. So we just want to make an opening big enough in the side of it for a screw to go through. So first I'm just going to make a small pilot hole. I'm going to use a step bit to make that hole a bit bigger, but you could just use a normal drill bit. Just go nice and slow and easy.
Seven hours later.
And there you go. You can see just how good of a friction fit we actually had. So again, it's you expand this just a little bit with your heat gun, and this arrangement is a very good fit. It works very well, but we can just be sure and secure it in with a screw. So we'll swap it over here, push that on in. Now don't over tighten it, don't add any extra unnecessary force on our flange. We don't want to crack it, but there we go. That is never coming out. Now you could use just regular PVC glue to glue in your 1/2 inch pipe to your coupler. And of course, we can expand our 3/4 inch pipe and do the same thing to get a good fit in there. So 2 easy ways to attach 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. And of course you could also attach a 3/4 inch to like 1 inch or 1.5 inch coupler to attach even larger pipe. But this here is my preferred way to use one of these light flanges. We can just expand our pipe a little bit with the heat gun to get a nice good fit. We just throw in a screw just to secure it in there permanently. It's a really easy, straightforward method, limited tools. You could even get away without using the heat gun. Maybe just do 2 or 3 screws to secure it in there so it doesn't wiggle around. I think that's super clean. Certainly a bigger footprint than our iron one here, but you're also saving $5 or $6, and it's all plastic. There's no metal, there's no additional weight. This is considerably heavier than this whole thing here. Now just some specific information for you. This particular light fixture with these ridges in it is from Home Depot. It costs $1.58 when I bought it. The brand is Leviton, Leviton. Lowe's sells Legrand. Theirs does not have ridges, but it is the exact same price at $1.58, so the price is exactly the same. But here's the big difference. If you go with the Lowe's Legrand model, if you're going to use the method where you take one of the light bulb screws and plug it in, it's actually probably going to be the better one for that. I think the screw is a bit more supported than the Home Depot one with the ridges. But if you want to take those out like we did here, it's not going to be that great. This part comes off, so you're left with pretty much nothing. So unfortunately, you're going to have to track down this specific style with the ridges, with this nice long collar that's just all one piece. So this one, again, my Home Depot sells. Hopefully you have a Home Depot and yours sells this one. Otherwise, you might just have to track one down online, or hopefully whatever home improvement store you have goes with this style versus this two-part style, which I don't know, it seems kind of confusing, especially from a manufacturing point. We have one piece of plastic versus two separate pieces of plastic. Yeah, I don't know. So there we go. That is what I would say is a really elegant and functional way to mount PVC to a surface. It's cheap, it's lightweight, and whereas this would be permanent once you put it up, if you wanted to move it or take it down, you'd have to remove the screws. This is keyhole. You all know about keyholes, right?
Keyhole fasteners.
That means, with a simple twist, locks on the wall, comes right off. I don't think you can beat that. So as long as you can find this specific style, which is pretty much the only hang-up, you can go a long way. And again, I really like just this one locking screw. Just carefully drill a big hole, big enough for your screw to cleanly go through, screw into the PVC fitting so you don't crack the plastic. No glue, no mess. That's just super satisfying. So I was so excited when I had the idea for this, even more excited when I got it all to work. And I've had this stuff sitting in a bin just for months, waiting for some guy to come and make a video so that you could all see. So I really hope that you can take advantage of this. And again, this one's from Home Depot. I wish they were just all the same, or I wish the Lowe's one was better, or at least more usable than it's just not usable at all. But if you have a Home Depot, you can find this one. Or of course, you can go on Amazon. There's a good listing for like 20 of these for like 15 bucks. So that is certainly another option. And at least it's really nice that the steel pipe and PVC pipe threading is the same. So that is super convenient, super easy. You'll be done in a few minutes. But again, that only takes a few minutes longer. Can't recommend a heat gun enough. Check out the digit remover. If you do a lot of work with PVC, it's going to save you a lot of time, get you some really nice clean cuts on PVC. Just don't stick anything that you want attached to your body into it. My sincere thank you for watching. Once again, I am Nick D. Clements. If you're wondering, Nick is short for Nicholas, and the D stands for digit remover. Anyway, I'm off to make something else. So there is why you want to be careful when putting in that screw, because it will crack but it's still perfectly functional, but it's cracked. Yeah, that's one that I've installed, holding up my light there on the ceiling.